passion is so important. You don't want to go through in the last moments of your life, see that you haven't done your passion. It will be such a big regret. Your passion makes your life purpose and it makes it more meaningful.
Priscilla MelekhShalom Kashani, welcome to Produce Your Passion.
Hello, Sam. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Absolutely. This is a long time coming. We've met each other at several events, at the Gula World events, and had some great
Yes,
conversations, and I've really been looking forward to this podcast. So thank you so much for coming on.
thank you.
Absolutely. So I think we start this podcast off for those that don't know who you are or want to know a little more about you. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm a spiritual coach, teacher, and mindset healer. And I have been studying Kabbalah for the past 20 years, and I integrate it in my healing modalities that I have certified myself in, such as theta healing, conscious parent coaching, Kabbalistic astrology, energy work, meditation, breath work. And I integrate the mysticism of Kabbalah, the teachings that are so powerful, the tools of Kabbalah with the healing practices. And I help my clients to release their negative subconscious beliefs, their stuck emotions, to find purpose and meaning by connecting them back to God and finding their inner peace.
That's incredible. And I was going through your website earlier, and you definitely offer a lot of amazing things. And I think for the audience purposes and myself, what exactly is Kabbalah? Like, what exactly is it?
Kabbalah is the deep teachings of Judaism, the spiritual part of it, and they go hand in hand, and it helps to elevate people's lives by connecting to God, to understanding the meaning of what this life is about, and finding their purpose and becoming a service to the Creator in this world.
That's amazing. So what is the story behind you getting into that? What made you follow this path and produce this
Yes.
passion? What made you say, you know what, I'm going to study this, I'm going to learn it, and then I'm going to come back and share this gift with others? What was that moment for you?
Yes. Over 23 years ago, I lost my brother to pancreatic cancer, and I was devastated. My heart was broken. I was upset at God. I didn't understand why good people have to suffer so much, why bad things happen to good people. And even though I went to therapy for a few months and I was able to share, but my pain, I didn't get any healing. So that led me to take some classes to find answers to my questions about life. And that's when I started studying Kabbalah. And by the time we got to the study of reincarnation, that's when I got the clarity and I got the answers that I was looking for, and that healed my heart. But by then, I had become so addicted to the teachings of Kabbalah that it had become the air that I breathe. And ever since then, I study it daily. It has become a part of practice of my life, and I integrate it in my work.
That's incredible. And if I got to shout out the chapter you wrote in this book, Anatomy of Abundance, which is incredible, by the way. Did I read it
Thank you.
correctly? Were you an accountant before all of this?
Yes, I have my bachelor's degree in accounting, but um, back then I was too young. I didn't know what I wanted to study, and my brother suggested it, and I'm like, okay, that's a good career for a woman if they want to work part-time or full-time, it's a possibility. So I studied it. I didn't love it. I didn't like to be stuck in my cubicle and no interaction with people. So years later, I got into the study of Kabbalah, and then because of my uh, um, chronic migraines that I was suffering, I studied different healing modalities because the Western medicine wasn't helping me. And that's how I got into this field. And I found out that forgiveness is such a big tool, such a big tool that I can use in my practice. And I saw so many miracles and doors of blessings open to my clients. So that's when I wrote this chapter on forgiveness.
Yeah, if we could stick with that for a second, it's really, really
Sure.
good. And I know I've talked with you off camera a little bit about it, but I feel it's something underrated that's not talked about enough because people hold so many grudges and everyone wants to be right and there's pride involved. And it seems that forgiveness can actually open you up more. You know, it kind of gives you that letting go. Can you talk a little more about forgiveness or maybe give an example on how it's helped people in that way?
Sure. Forgiveness is not just forgiving the other person. Forgiveness is also gaining your power back. So if a person hasn't gained their strength, hasn't gained their clarity of the mindset and their power, they cannot forgive the other person. For example, if let's say someone has stolen the money from another person, and the person that is need to forgive doesn't believe they can make that money back again, or the door to abundance still open to them, there's no way that they can forgive. So they need to work on their negative subconscious beliefs and all the stuck emotions in order to be able to forgive. And then so many other doors open.
And what's so is the first step just recognizing it, just admitting you haven't forgiven yet?
The first step is basically acceptance and surrender to the will of God, because whatever we see and happening in our movie, it's because of the creator. So knowing that the creator has created this world because he wanted to bestow blessings to its people, we know that the good and the bad, they all carry some blessings inside it. So when I'm accepting and surrendering, then I need to believe that there is something good for my growth in this challenging event that has happened to me, from the hurt that I'm going through. There is some awakening that needs to come. So it's me shifting my perspective from looking at it from a negative into what is it that God is trying to show me? What lessons do I need to learn? Is it my boundary? Is it um, my lack of belief that I can make, for example, this money again? Is it my belief that people can take advantage of me? I need to learn these lessons, first of all, to avoid it to happening again. And by forgiving, open the door to blessings so new opportunities can come in, because we are all energy. So if I'm holding on to grudge, negativity, anger, resentment, then I cannot attract abundance or blessings into my life. So all those energies needs to be released, plus
Awesome.
the subconscious beliefs.
I love that. And besides forgiveness, are there any other areas that people maybe underestimate or don't that's blocking them?
Acceptance and
Acceptance and
surrender,
surrender.
having belief that it's gonna be good, that even though it's challenging, even though I cannot see the light, it's gonna be good. Having that belief gives us the power to overcome our challenges
Awesome. I love
and
that.
having certainty. Yes.
Certainty. And I'm sure with this road, as purposeful as it may be, it probably has come with some challenges as well. What have been the biggest challenges for you when taking on this career and this practice? Can you take us through some challenges or obstacles you've been
Sure.
through, and
Wow,
then
there
how
has
you?
been so many. Um, so first of all, at the beginning when I started learning these healing modalities and I wanted to start my practice, some of my family members were against it. They didn't believe that the mindset uh, can bring healing for people. And they were against this practice. Also, they didn't believe that I can combine Kabbalah with these healing modalities. Or they believe there is no money to be made in this business. And it was painful, but because I'm trained by the study of Kabbalah, I realized what they are saying is probably the doubt inside of me that I need to completely remove. So instead of arguing with them or showing my point of view or trying to convince them it's going to work, I had to sit with myself and really clarify, is this my passion? Is this my calling? And 100% it was. And because of that, I knew I had to do it and I had to keep working on myself. So all the tools that I work with my clients are the tools that I also constantly use on myself, especially at the beginning when I was starting my business. Um, the second thing was when I wanted to teach, because teaching is my passion. I love teaching. I love sharing what I know. And I was hesitant. I was scared. I didn't feel I can do this. And I had to work on my own subconscious beliefs, such as I'm worthy to be heard, to be seen. It's safe to be seen. I can make a difference in this world. And just working on my negative subconscious beliefs. And we all have it. It's so hidden. And going to the root of it and removing it and just showing up one step at a time. And another big obstacle was at the beginning, there weren't that many people who were interested in this field that I'm teaching or working. And still knowing that this is my purpose, this is my calling, and this is how God wants me to show up in life. And that's how I did it, by connecting to God and knowing that my duty is just to show up. The rest is done by the Creator. All the other obstacles will get cleared if I just show up and push out of my comfort zone. And there are so many other obstacles too.
Well, I'm sure we could talk for 3 hours on. No,
Yes.
I love that. I really love that last thing you just said, and then just showing up, just by showing up, and then the creator takes it from there, and then also how that passion kept you going, like
Yes.
and having that. I'm sure we all have it sometimes. But do I really feel this? Do I really love this? And if you do, it's like, all right, that alone can be enough to keep you going through. So I really appreciate you
Yes.
sharing that.
Because passion is so important. You don't want to go through life and in the last moments of your life see that you haven't done your passion. It will be such a big regret. So
Absolutely.
your passion makes your life purpose and it makes it more meaningful.
Amazing. And for people that are wanting, maybe They're listening or watching this right now and they go, man, this all sounds really good, but I don't know what my issue is. I don't know if it is forgiveness. I don't know if it is me not accepting things. Where's a good, besides coming to you, obviously, where do people even begin on this journey?
I think the biggest part is taking some time out of our busy lives and to be alone and to be quiet. If you don't give yourself that time, you cannot listen to your inner voice. And then the second thing is to be in communication with God and be honest and clear. You know, this is what my inner voice keeps telling me. This is what my passion is. I don't have the strength. Help me, show me, use me as your vessel to do your work in this world. And also, when you're going within doing the meditation, you can ask, show me some of these negative beliefs I have.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you really so you have to be open, like you have to have that open mindedness to get the feedback. Because I think a lot of us, a lot of times, sometimes we don't want to know. Like sometimes I know, especially like artists, a lot of times we don't like criticism. We don't like people telling us what to fix. So I really like how you said that, like meditating and like show it to me. Like let me see what I need to work on.
Because when you ask, you're humbling yourself. When you humble yourself, you're creating a window for God's energy to come in to show you. And that's very important.
Wow, I love that. I've never even heard that before. So that's a really good. Can we
Right.
dive a little deeper into that right there? What you just said. So when you ask for something, you're actually humbling yourself.
So humility is a big work, part of spiritual work and growth. A lot of times right now, people study Kabbalah or religions or different spiritual paths because they want to gain power. They want to do more from selfish reasons. But if the main purpose is to be humble and to listen to your calling and what God wants from you to do, the energy opens up because you are in integrity with God's will. The doors open with much more ease.
I think that's a great message right there. And for people that are listening or watching this and they really are inspired by hearing you going on this journey and they want to do something similar, whether it's in this industry or whatever it is they're doing, what advice can you have for those? We'll start with the people that haven't taken action yet. Maybe they're working a day job of some kind and they keep thinking about doing something like you're doing or something completely different. What would you tell them?
The most important thing is to be able, first of all, to visualize it. What is it that you want to create? As long as it's, again, in alignment with the will of the creator, then it's okay. Visualize it, see it, feel it. For years, I visualized that I was teaching at the religious center. And guess what? I'm teaching there right now. So visualizing it helps us to know and clarify what we want. And then just take small steps. You don't have to be like anybody else. If we keep comparing ourselves to somebody who is an expert in that department that we want to create or field that we want to go in, then it only hurts us more. Only compare to yourself to what you want to become. Slowly, one step at a time, and to have faith and certainty and to be in a state of flow. Sometimes we are so um, connected. Sometimes we are so stuck to one way of doing things. And to be in a state of flow means God is going to show me, is this the right place for me to be or not? If it's not, because I have that connection, I'm not worried. I'm not in anxiety. I'm not in fear. I'm going to move to the next location or to the next person. I'm in a state of flow because of that connection. And maybe in doorway A, there was nothing to move more to get more abundance, but in doorway B, there's a lot more abundance. So also being in a state of flow is very important.
I love that. And it's really practicing that whole surrender
Yes,
concept too, by just having that faith, like, well, okay, if this didn't work out, there's a reason why that didn't work out. And it just sounds like a way more peaceful way to live too.
definitely. But peace doesn't mean you don't take action. Peace means, because I teach about shalom, which in Hebrew means peace. Peace means you have that inner connection and inner groundedness by connecting to God. And because of that, you can take a lot more actions than before with a much better energy.
That's really good. Yeah, because I think a lot of times on here we talk about people who get burnt out, burnout. That gets talked about. Do you have any perspective on burnout? Like people that, and I guess that'll lead me to the next question was, now what advice would you have for the people that are producing their passion and doing it, but they're getting burnt out? They're feeling lost. They want to give up. What would you say to that group of people?
First of all, that's normal because the Creator hasn't created us so we always have to be in a perfect state. We are supposed to go through ups and downs because when we go down, now we have to pick ourselves up. We create even more energy than, let's say, if everything was smooth and easy. So failure is part of the plan as well, but failure to jump higher, not to go down. If you are in the right consciousness, you know that when you're going through a challenge or failure, this is your test to go higher. And sometimes we are human beings. We need to take a little bit break, to take time off, to clear our mindset, to let go of these stuck emotions. And now we can do more.
That's really good stuff. And then meditation, is that something that you try to get people to incorporate, or do you have a take on that, like people just meditating every day or praying to get that clarity, to get those answers? Do you have any perspective on that?
For sure. Definitely speaking out loud to the creator makes a huge difference because whatever is stuck and suppressed, it helps us to release it and giving it to a higher power than ourselves. And also, our body hears when we are praying. Our body hears and relaxes when we are praying and we are praising God. And meditation, there is so much value in meditation, taking that few minutes in the morning and especially before going to sleep it helps us to create so much more clarity for the day and even before going to sleep. So the next day, we have so much more strength to start the day.
So when people hear meditate, I think a lot of times they get intimidated by it because they're thinking you need to be on top of a mountaintop with your eyes closed. So can it just be as simple as just sitting in a chair? Or how simple can it be?
Yeah, it can be very simple. You can be in a meditative state, even sitting for a few seconds. Even when you're talking with someone, you can quickly ask the Creator, help me. Be with me. Let me feel your presence during this project I'm doing. And that is a form of meditation as well. And also just closing your eyes and allowing you to just be and relaxing. And if the thoughts comes, that's okay. Don't resist it. Don't reflect it. And just sit with it, because we know these thoughts can pass. And the same way, if we have a lot of negative emotions, meditation helps, because through meditation, sitting through those emotions, we eventually come to a place that you separate yourself from the emotions you're going through, such as anger, resentment, jealousy. Because during meditation, you can feel the vastness of your soul and realizing that you are not those emotions. You're much more bigger. Your soul is so vast.
Thank you for that. And I did have another question, because when you talked about visualization, is that the same thing as manifestation, or are they two different things? In your
Great
opinion,
question.
in your
Great
opinion.
question. Great question. So I personally don't like the word manifesting, but visualizing your purpose that is aligned with the will of the Creator. It's so important. Visualizing, but yet at the same time to be in a state of flow and not being attached to the outcome. Because in Kabbalah, we have to always be in two states at the same time. Full desire, wanting to bring that visualization that I'm into fruition that is aligned with the Creator. At the same time, complete detachment, surrender, and let go. And the two together is what creates miracles.
I love what you said. Visualizing, but with the ability to let go of the outcome.
Yeah.
Because I think for a lot of us that can be really hard to do, especially in an age of social media and you're constantly seeing people posting the highlights of everything. So we have like these ideas of what success is and whatnot. But to just do the work, just do the work and let the outcome be the outcome.
Do the work and wanting to be the vessel that serves God. So that way you are not acting from your ego and allowing God's energy to work through you.
Ego, that's a big one. Could we talk a little bit about ego? Because I think, it's good to have maybe a little bit of it, but I think the ego definitely can send us in the wrong directions a lot
For
of
sure.
times.
Well, right now, most of the teachings on social media is about to making your ego bigger. All the manifesting classes, it's just making your ego bigger and bigger. And a lot of people walk around and saying, "Oh, today I manifested. I manifested my dream car. I manifested this." And that is pure ego. But when you say, I co-created with the help of the Creator, you manage your ego and you allow the energy of God to be in your life. He becomes the CEO of your life. He becomes the creator, not you. And when we create from that energy, when we co-create, knowing that it's God working through us, through the magic, bringing everything to the front, then the energy behind it is so much powerful and allows whatever you created to be everlasting. So the money you made can continue. The children you raise will be good kids. They will continue a lineage. So the energy behind creating something, the intention is very powerful.
I like that a lot. That's it. And again, it's probably, it kind of reminds me too of when people, like kind of what we were already talking about, like, but when something doesn't work out, but then something better ends up happening. It's kind of that theory of, God had a bigger plan for you.
Yes,
What you thought it was going to be, you get all disappointed, like, oh, I had these expectations, but then sometimes things work out in an even better way than you never imagined. So
correct.
it makes sense. It makes total sense what you're saying. But you're saying we can work from that energy from the beginning. We don't have to have the huge letdown and the huge. We can starting from a more pure place with it.
Yes, the seed level of everything is so important.
Awesome. And if we could too touch on, so again, I'll show the book Anatomy of Abundance here by Patrina Wisdom. Your chapter 5, The Power of Forgiveness. It's excellent. Can you talk about that, how that happened, how you got in this book and how you became a part of it?
Yes, first of all, I was hurt by someone very close to me, and for the life of me, I didn't know how to forgive them. And all that inner work that I had to do on myself, plus the research that I needed to put in order to heal my own self, that's what led to me creating the forgiveness and letting go workshops. And one day I went to a friend's birthday, and Katrina, um, who brought all the authors, 10 women, to create this collaborative book. She was there and she asked me what I do, and I talked about the work of forgiveness and how it opens the door to blessings. And that's how it started. She called me the next morning and she said, I thought about it. This is amazing. I want you to be part of this book.
Wow. And how long ago was this? When did this happen?
This is about 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So that just shows you, I mean, you're just out and about.
Yes.
But you're in that flow state, like you said, and then an opportunity comes and then boom, you're in a really cool book. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, this has been extraordinary, Priscilla. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about or share about your practice or teachings or anything else that comes to mind?
Yes, I'm really passionate about this work because I see miracles all the time. First of all, the biggest miracles I saw was with my own healing, healing of the mindset, healing of my emotions, finding a new path in life with meaning. And I'm passionate to bring that to people so they can have a better life, to live in more alignment, clarity, purpose. And I hope those listeners who hear this can take advantage of this. That didn't go well.
Oh, no, that's perfect. If there's, I guess a question that I just came up as you're talking, what do you think our biggest issues are as a society right now? I'm just curious to get your take. Like, what is it? The technology? Is it what's disconnecting us from ourselves or separating us from God the most? In your experience, in your viewpoint.
Well, as far as social media goes, because people want to sell, they sell the ideas that sell the most.
Mm.
And unfortunately, things that boost our ego, it sells the most. So that's number one problem with social media, and we have to be aware of it. And we have to, before start listening to a podcast or to a video, or whether it's on YouTube or it's a movie, we have to always ask God, show me if there is anything in here that is out of alignment. When I go into it, that first initial thought will help me to measure between good and bad. So that's one advice I have for the people. So when they listen to social media, they go into it with that thought of measuring between good and bad.
But it's having that openness to being able to see it, right? Like not going in
Yes.
blind. It's like, hey, no, let me see if something's out of whack here before I get too far down, if you will. Yeah. No, that's incredible. And then Priscilla, I want everyone who wants to work with you, learn more about you. I guess we'll start there. So if anyone wants to work with you, check out your work, learn more about you, get a hold of you, where should people go to check you out and to get a hold of you?
My website is called Shalom Energy Healing. They can, I'm also on social media, Facebook, Instagram under Shalom Energy Healing.
Perfect. And then one before we get out of here, could you just give another rundown of maybe all the types of people? Because your website's incredible. When you go through all the different areas that people might need this type of work for, could you maybe just give us like who the types of people that could benefit from the work you do in the different
Um,
areas?
Basically, anybody who wants to grow or going through any type of challenge or difficulty in their life, whether it's their job or relationship, this type of spiritual work, it's very important because I offer many different healing modalities plus Kabbalah. For example, if the negative belief system of a person is coming from ancestral point of view, the generation tree work that I have certified in helps me to pinpoint and identify and remove them. For example, I also do Kabbalistic astrology chart. If somebody is doesn't know what's their purpose, what are their weaknesses or strength, the Kabbalistic astrology is very good to pinpoint those things. Kabbalistic astrology chart is not for forecasting the future. We are not supposed to do that because future can change. But Kabbalistic chart is about seeing the strength and weaknesses, where our corrections are, how the person needs to change their communication skills, for example. There is a lot of um, pointers in the chart that could help the person. I also do conscious parent coaching, so I work with parents, and this type of modality, it concentrates on the parent working on themselves first before they want to change their child's behavior, because we are also interconnected. So when the parent changes their own negative beliefs, their own traumas that comes from their childhood, that work helps tremendously their children. I also work with women who can't get pregnant. I work with them with their mindset, their belief systems, their stuck emotions. I work with women who want to grow their businesses, many, many different areas.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm sorry, I have to ask one more question because you said
Sure.
something. Generational trauma.
Yes.
I'm laughing not because it's funny, but because I don't know. I first started hearing about it maybe a few years back, but then I've heard more and more about it. So do we carry trauma from past generations? Does trauma transfer? I guess is what
Yes,
I'm trying.
it does. First of all, in the Torah, in the Old Testament, it says that God clearly says that the sin of the fathers passes to the next generations up to the third and fourth generation. And sin is not just anything you do bad, it's anything that separates you from you and the creator. So if in the previous generations there was a trauma or challenge that wasn't resolved, it gets passed on so then future generations can heal it. So it could be in our psyche, in our belief systems, even in our emotions. And so going and clearing those, it could help us tremendously.
That's amazing. And yeah, you're just a wealth of information and knowledge. I'm sure we could
Thank you
talk
so much.
for 5 more hours here. But Priscilla, thank you so much for doing this. Again, one more time, what's the website where people can go check you out?
Yes. Shalom Energy Healing.
Awesome. And then is there any final words you'd like to end on for this podcast?
Follow your passion and trust the Creator's help in your life.
I love it. Well, Priscilla, hang around for just a second, but thank you so much for doing this. This was an amazing conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in. To learn more, go to produceyourpassion.com.